Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Talk to Farina Najam from Division of Arts and Social Sciences, University of Education, Lahore. The course title is Advanced Drawing. Dear students, our topic is about composition with the environment. First of all, what is composition? Composition refers to the organization, arrange and combination of objects within the boards of a drawing space. You want to bring the eye of the viewer toward your center of interest within an aesthetically pleasing composition. Some elements of composition are focal point, overlapping, negative space, lines, and balance. Focal point, a primary center of interest or focus in a drawing. Overlapping, the visual separation of a drawing into foreground, middle ground, and distant space by overlapping or layering objects. Negative space, the space within your drawing not occupied by a focal point, important subject or area of interest. Lines, navigation tools used to guide the viewer through the different elements of a drawing. Balance is a stable arrangement of subjects within a composition. Focal point. Most compositions have one or maybe two main subjects that are the focal points of the image. Always try to make sure there is some sort of relation factor with the subjects that complement each other. Your center of focus on the composition is always better off center, and targeting the third marks are best. Known in art history class as the golden means, the rule of three, or magic thirds. This technique dates back to the old masters of the Renaissance. The rule of thirds. Quite simple. Divide a center in thirds both horizontally and vertically, and place the focus of the painting either 1/3 across or 1/3 up or down the picture, or where the lines intersect the red circles on the diagram. The rule of third. Balance. Symmetrical composition convey a sense of stability. Stability in this example. A single large figure in the center is flanked by a smaller figure on either side. The shape of the artwork itself is also symmetrical. A vertical line bisecting the image would create two equal halves that are mirror images of one another. Symmetrical composition. A symmetrical composition often convey a sense of movement since the elements of the composition are unbalanced. In this painting, the artist used organic forms to create a composition that the composition of wine growing in an unordered fashion around the clock face. Symmetry, balance. Symmetry, balance. Just as a room would seem out of the balance if all of the furniture were piled up on one side, a drawing must be balanced to the aesthetically pleasing, regardless of their actual physical weight. Large objects in a drawing seem heavier than small ones. By objectively viewing the elements in a drawing, you can learn to see their perceptual weight. Odd numbers add interest. Two elements divide the composition. An odd number such as 3 is more interest. Placing environment. Varying the space between the elements in your composition, the angles they lay at and their sizes makes a painting more interesting. Elements must either be definitely apart or definitely overlapping. Just touching distracts the viewer eye. The viewer eye from moving around the composition. Create unity by repeating shapes, lines, texture, or values. Placing. Overlapping. Overlapping. Overlapping objects or placing two objects over or in front of others unifies the drawing. Enhance depth of enhance depth of field and creates an aesthetically pleasing composition. Perspective. Perspective adds depth and realism to your drawings and design. Perspective. Positive and negative space. The relationship of positive to negative space can greatly affect the impact of a work or art. In this drawing, the man and his shadow occupy the positive space, while the white space surrounding him is the negative space. The disproportionate amount of negative space accentuate the figure vulnerability and isolation. Negative space. Pesaro use of negative space is as powerful as his use of positive space. The objects in example, the black areas represent the negative space and the white areas the positive space. His use of negative space is so strong that it is almost equal to the positive space. These interesting negative space shapes add an additional level of strength to the image. Positive and negative space. Pesaro created a primary composition path to let your eye around the elements of the painting. Your eye seems to start in the lower left hand corner where the powerful outstretched arm and hand of the figure area. Figure art elements then comes your vision along Lines, leading lines. The lines or direction the viewer eye takes to go through the picture. The object or forms within the picture should lead the eye to the focal point. A good composition will not allow the viewer to keep going right all the way off the page. The viewer should be led back into the painting in a flowing motion. Use lines to create mood. Curved lines reflect beauty, gentleness, and calmness. Horizontal lines create stability, peace, serenity. Vertical lines reflect strength and dignity. Diagonal lines offer a sense of movement and power. Yes, lines create emotion and moods in your composition. This work is Maria Khan. The woman Khan draws is not the idealized woman. In her work, Khan draws a portrait of womanhood rather than a single woman. Her work is a commentary on the state of women in Pakistan as an object of desire but also someone who can be manipulated. Her saying, "As a woman, I can't help but constantly be drawn into the expectation of looking perfect." Her work is in outline sketchy color.